I want to do a video here on something I'm going to call system thinking. I read a book called The Utility of Force, and it mentioned how all systems can be broken down into four levels: the political, the organizational, the theatrical, and the tactical. And I am a teacher and coach, which places me in this camp, the theatrical. And one of the things that I believe is I believe that at every level of system-based thinking, there is a general idea that each is trying to accomplish. And at the end of that system, there are results that measure, or there are results to be measured. And I believe that every interplay between each level creates the culture of a system. Okay, so this is my visual of system thinking. And down here I have placed Goodhart's law, which says when a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. Sorry about my handwriting. When a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. Okay, so let's just move to the next thing. So the other thing that I read by a guy named Edgar Schein, I believe. He talked about culture and how culture can be broken up into three levels: our basic assumptions, our values, and then the artifacts. The artifacts are those things that someone could see from the outside. So very difficult to unearth our values and our basic assumptions, but the artifacts can be seen by anyone. So that's something I'll come back to here in a little bit. Now, one of my favorite quotes is never let the task get bigger than the idea. I think this is critical in a system-based thinking to create good results. So at each level, each level has this general idea, and then they have the tasks underneath the idea to help achieve that idea. So now you can see here, I have the job description is more of a macro level task, but each job then has these micro level tasks associated with it. And that's easy to understand. Now, with respect to a coach, so this would be the theatrical and this would be the tactical. Okay, so at the theatrical level, produce great student athletes, and the task is teach curriculum and provide feedback. Okay, so produce great students or athletes, teach the curriculum, and provide feedback. At the tactical level, the student or the athlete, be in attendance and give great effort and complete assignments. That would be the task. Okay. Well, the idea takes time. Okay, anytime that your primary objective is to produce great student or athletes, right? That takes incredible amount of time. The more you think about it, the better you get. And one of my hashtags is no finish lines. Okay, and that there's lots of research with respect to this, and it's logical. I mean, the minute you cross something off a to-do list, you stop thinking about it. So this idea of this loop, this circular notion of constant progress and constant thinking about it is the general idea of how to produce better students or better athletes. Now the task becomes these assignments are important, and because they are important, I need them by, and then some predetermined date, whether that be, now down here, I wrote do, and I wrote, look, of course, due dates are valuable. I mean, the reason why due dates exist is because tasks are important, okay? So I'm not saying that tasks aren't important. And because they are important, we set due dates on them. I need the trash, I need the mail, your homework, right? Like, so due dates become very important when you're centered on the tasks, okay? Now, the idea of the student is be in attendance and give great effort. That's the idea, be in attendance and give great effort. The task, however, when the task starts to trump the idea, oftentimes you'll get students offering up, you're moving too fast, or you're moving too slow. And then you hear students talk about, I quit, or I'm bored. And despite all our best efforts at growth mindset and grit, and these are natural responses when you feel like you can't keep up. Now, let's consider it from a different angle. The more you think about it, the better you get. No finish line, takes time. Obvious, right? Obvious. I mean, great runners continue to run. Great baseball players concentrate on their swing incessantly, all the time. They never admit that they've arrived. And if you embrace this idea, the assignments are still important. And because the assignments are important, there's inherent value placed on the result. All right. So now all of a sudden the task shifts from time constraints to the product. Okay. So that's something that I want to make evident here. And then the student still, it's be in attendance and give great effort. And now the task, there's inherent value in what I'm doing. I'm getting closer to the goal. Now this is the theatrical and this is the tactical. And what I've found in education is when you move from when you move up a level, when you have the theatrical and the organizational, us teachers feel the same stress. It's just sometimes we don't realize it. The current dynamic that we're in, this is an often cited refrain. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. It's too much. And that's because the teacher's idea is produce great student athletes and teach their curriculum and provide feedback. That's what we're tasked to do. But when you look at it from the organizational level, provide great support to the teachers implementing best practices. That's what us teachers value. That's what we want. Well, anytime that the task trumps the idea, we get really, really frustrated, right? Too many Zoom calls, grades are due, emails sent, agendas uploaded, like all of these notions. And again, they're important. They're important. I'm just recognizing the fact that when the task gets greater than the idea, you do have stress. You do have stress, and things start to overwhelm whoever's sitting at that lowest level in the system-based thinking. So here, let's go back to that culture, okay? So this is what I believe is true, and I want to talk about it with respect to when the idea remains greater than the task, okay? So here are some basic assumptions that I believe. I believe that most organizations believe that results matter, actions have consequences, and with respect to coaching and teaching, I have kids are worth our time. I think those are three basic assumptions that I would hope would be true. And our values, again, this is the unseen. This is what isn't talked about. This is what, we don't spend time in meetings discussing, because it's an assumption, and it's a value that oftentimes doesn't come to the forefront. But curiosity should be valued, discipline should be valued, collaboration should be valued, and critical thinking should be valued. These are all things that should be valued. And if the idea remains greater than the task, if you can remove the constraints that create frustration and tension, like the culture is great. You've got energy and you've got enthusiasm, because all of these things are being accentuated at the tactical level. Like they have an opportunity. They realize that because the results matter, and because the teachers are giving them opportunities to chase these things, because results matter, and because actions have consequences, which means, of course, I need to do good things because results matter. If I don't produce results, then I won't get opportunities. And the fact that people are giving me time to do this means that, of course, they value me. And what happens is then what you see energy and enthusiasm. This is just a byproduct of understanding these things and removing the constraints and allowing the idea to remain greater than the task. Now, when the task trumps the idea, Okay, all of these same things are true, right? What happens is at the tactical level, you get apathy and indifference. Okay, whether that be students or athletes or even the workforce, really. And again, the basic assumptions are the same. Results matter. Okay, results matter. But if the task is greater than the idea, now because results matter, I'm not getting what I asked. And because results matter, now all of a sudden, the theatrical level starts to impose certain things, and that's where time constraints pop up, and all of a sudden the task is trumping the idea, and actions have consequences, so behavior now needs addressed. And of course kids are worth our time, but because they're not doing what we want, now we think because they are worth our time, now we need to impose some sort of tough love on them. And this is this basic assumption. And again, we still value these things, right? But because we're not getting these things, we feel compelled to address the student. And again, um, I believe it's simply because the task has trumped the idea. And if you can recognize that results do in fact matter, and actions have consequences, and kids are worth our time, but if you can flip the script, and if you can be idea driven, I think the byproduct becomes self-evident, becomes obvious: energy, enthusiasm, instead of apathy and indifference.